Okay, so I want you to imagine a job title that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, but is actually becoming a real thing. An architect who doesn't just design buildings, but entire, self-sufficient, sovereign communities. Today, we're diving into the blueprint for this absolutely incredible role. Just take a look at this. This isn't just some town. It's a completely self-contained ecosystem. You've got a community basically under its own digital dome, generating its own power, running its own internet. Everything is seamlessly integrated. And this isn't a fantasy, you guys. This is a real blueprint for the future of how we build our infrastructure. You know, a blueprint like this brings up a really fundamental question. What if a community didn't have to rely on these fragile, centralized grids for the stuff it needs most? What would that kind of true independence actually look and feel like? Well, the answer is a concept they're calling the sovereign stack. And it's just that. It's this holistic design that weaves together power generation and data infrastructure, but also the community's own rules and governance, its social fabric, to create some real, genuine resilience. So, how in the world do you actually build this thing? Well, it all starts with one single foundational idea that basically holds the entire system together. They call it the Velcro principle, which is such a brilliant metaphor, right? Think about it. Data centers need a ton of power, and power grids need smart data to run efficiently. So this principle is all about physically locking them together. And that word, thermodynamically, that's key. It means the energy, especially the heat, from one system is used to directly fuel the other. They literally become a single symbiotic organism. And this diagram right here shows you that principle in action. See, power generation feeds a data center. But, and this is the crucial part, it doesn't just stop there. The so-called waste from one part of the system becomes a super valuable resource for another, creating this perfect closed loop. And check out just how practical this loop is. You start with something like agricultural byproducts to fuel your generators. Okay, so those generators then power the data centers that are running the software to manage the farm. And here's the final brilliant step. All that waste heat coming off the servers isn't just lost. Nope, it's captured to warm greenhouses. Like the source material says, waste heat is just misplaced energy. How cool is that? So you're probably asking, who on earth designs a system this complicated? I mean, this is definitely not a job for your typical technician or network admin. This requires a totally new kind of professional, one who's got to wear a few different hats. This quote really just sums up the whole role perfectly. The sovereign systems architect has to be a master integrator, right? They're thinking about the physical structure, the financial viability, and the community's governance, all at the exact same time. Let's break that down real quick. First, they've got to be an engineer, designing the physical fortress. We're talking power plants, server vaults, all the secure perimeters. Second, they're a banker, mastering the really complex economics to make sure the whole thing is actually profitable. And third, they're the mayor, drafting the rules and policies that are going to govern this new digital community. Okay, so let's try on the architect's hats for a second and see what they actually build, starting with the economics, because this is where things get really, really fascinating. The entire economic engine of this whole thing hinges on a real-time calculation they call the spark spread. At any given moment, the system has to answer a very simple but incredibly critical question about its energy. Is it more profitable right now to burn it, sell it, or store it? And here are the three paths that energy can take. Option 1, burn the syngas, which is a fuel made from waste to power those data centers, or maybe mine some crypto. Option 2, take that same gas and convert it into liquid diesel and just sell it on the physical market. Or option 3, store the energy in batteries to use later or sell back to the main grid during peak hours. The architect's job is to design the system so it makes these choices automatically, always maximizing revenue. All right, let's switch over to the engineer hat. This isn't just theory. We're talking about detailed, hands-on design work. These architects are using advanced CAD software to blueprint every single component, the exact placement of generators, the cooling loops for the servers, the security zones, the data pathways. Literally, every wire and every pipe is meticulously planned out. And this is where that mayor hat comes in. It's so interesting. On one hand, the architect designs the physical fortress, creating these zero-trust zones with biometric access to protect all the hardware. But on the other hand, they're designing the social fortress, They're creating the digital constitution. This means they're literally drafting the community's terms of service, its data privacy charter, basically writing the rulebook for this new sovereign society. So yeah, this is clearly a master-level skill set. It makes you wonder, how does somebody even become a sovereign systems architect? Let's take a look at the actual path from training to building one of these amazing communities. The whole journey ends in what they call the Capstone defense. It's the final, super comprehensive exam where you have to prove you've mastered all of this. If you pass, you earn the Black Badge, which is the symbol that you are a certified master architect in this field. And let me tell you, this test is no joke. The final project requires you to design a complete sovereign stack for a real-world scenario. You might be tasked with blueprinting an entire system for, say, a disaster relief camp in Haiti, or a remote mining town in Australia, or maybe a co-op farm in Vermont. You've got to deliver the site plans, the bill of materials, and the complete economic forecast. And look, this isn't just some futuristic dream. It's a real professional certification that's available now. As you can see, they've got different tracks designed for everyone from civil engineers and investors to government officials who are looking to build more resilient communities. You know, this final thought just perfectly captures the scale of this role. Technicians, they keep the lights on. Admins keep the network running. But architects build the future. It's about moving way beyond just maintenance and into pure creation, designing the resilient communities of tomorrow, today. So, I'll leave you with this final thought to really chew on. As we see more and more fragility in our global supply chains and our aging power grids, what is the true value, not just in dollars and cents, but in actual security and freedom, of being able to engineer your own sovereignty?